What up, y'all? Chris, here to give some thoughts on this whole GSP, George St-Pierre, indefinite leave slash possible retirement situation. Brief thoughts for the most part. It seemed like it was kind of expected, foreshadowed heading into his last fight. I mean, there was a lot of speculation out there. Where there's smoke, there's fire, so to speak. So it doesn't come as a shocker, particularly the way that fight ended. He just didn't seem like a guy that in the aftermath wanted to get right back in there and make a definitive statement that he deserved to be the winner of that fight. A lot of times you'll see that with a champion like Anderson Silva. He wanted to get right back in there and face Weidman and say, hey, I got caught. I'm going to show him the real champ. GSP wasn't like, oh, I'm ready to get back in there and show I can beat Hendricks. So no real big shocker. Once again, like he said in his post-fight interview that night, it's not necessarily retiring per se, but he is taking an indefinite leave. He is vacating the title, so that's cool. He's not going to be putting the title on the shelf or holding it hostage like Dominic Cruz, even though we got an interim champion in that instance. But the good thing is, I guess, from my perspective, is it's going to make the division more exciting, more entertaining. No disrespect to George St-Pierre, great champion, great fighter, but doesn't always put on the most exciting fights for the most part. This Johnny Hendricks fight, it was exciting, but that's because GSP hasn't really looked the same since his injury, since he's been out, since he came back. He hasn't quite looked the same fighter he was beforehand. So there's no doubt that that injury, that surgery, all that stuff, that time off did have an effect on him physically. Moving forward, you got Johnny Hendricks. Now he's going to get another shot at the title, taking on Robbie Lawler, UFC 171, March 15th. Looking forward to that fight. Obviously people want to see a Hendricks GSP rematch, but if we're not going to get it, Hendricks or Lawler, is Lawler the right opponent for Hendricks? I don't know. People are saying Carlos Condit should get the shot. You could definitely make case for Condit as well, but I'm excited to see either fight. Hendricks Lawler, that should be a absolute slugfest. Those dudes probably the two most powerful punchers in the division, so that should be a good fight. And a lot of people complain about George St. Pierre's style of fighting. We're going to have a new champion in this division, and we're going to have a lot of new matchups. And even, with the GSP out, depending on if he does or does not come back, maybe it'll bring guys like Nick Diaz back in there, or Condit as a chance to get a title shot down the line. Rather than facing George St. Pierre, we figured they wouldn't have a chance to win the title. Now they do, and they'll make for more exciting championship fights, in my opinion. Question to you guys. Do you think he's going to return? Personally, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Does he need to financially? I doubt it. Does he need to cement his legacy in any way? Nope. But maybe he'll get that fire. Maybe being gone a couple of years, he's still a relatively young dude. Maybe he'll get that fire burning inside, that competitive edge, and want to get back in there. Who knows? George St. Pierre is a different kind of cat, so you never know. But I don't know if you guys think he will. And number two, what do you think about his position all time? Greatest of all time? I don't think he's the greatest of all time. I think Anderson Silva still is up to this point. But where would you rank him? I will say this. Some people are saying he's the greatest of all time or the best of all time based on his resume and record and what he's done and accomplished. I'll say he's been one of, if not the most dominant champion of all time, definitely in the UFC, one of them. But that doesn't mean he's the greatest. I don't look at George St. Pierre and think, this is the most dynamic fight I've ever seen, or the best of all time. I look at Anderson Silva like that. Maybe George St. Pierre, before he got hurt, was on the road to doing that, but ever since, I don't know, even not. I would say before the Sarah fight. The way he was fighting then, if he had continued to fight in an exciting style after that fight, but the way he just changed it up and became more conservative, it's like Vladimir Klitschko in boxing. Very dominant, but do I look at him as the greatest of all time? No. And I view George St. Pierre the same way. Just my personal opinion, though. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts, though? Do you think GSP will return? Do you think he should? And what do you think about this whole situation, and where do you rank him all time? Think he's the best of all time? Top 3? Any other thoughts in general? That's it for now. Links to Twitter and Facebook and the Inverse Brother as always. Till next time, I'm out.